Hello and good afternoon, and welcome to Noonday Meditation and Contemplative Prayer Power Hour, where we have been gathering in this virtual sanctuary for over a year now to love and support each other through this world. We started out as a place to we were facing a crisis called the pandemic, and we needed a refuge. And I'm so glad we created this space because it's a year later. And wow, what we have discovered by having the ability to go inside ourselves and love each other. My name is Martin Cowart. I'm a spiritual teacher and a prosperity and mindset coach working largely with gay, bi, and transgender men. And today I'm so excited to be opening a new month of celebration as we celebrate gay, bi, trans men. And I'm one of those. So today we're going to be celebrating me. And we're celebrating, as are you. And I just feel like this is a great opportunity for me to slow down for a little bit as we begin this new month of celebration for all of ourselves. I'm just being a little bit specific this month. Like last month, we were celebrating women. And this month, our theme for the rest of April is going to be celebrating extraordinary men doing ordinary things that inspire us. And I know I do that. And I'm glad, I'm grateful for that opportunity. And so today I want to just talk about my last year and what I've discovered and tell a little bit of my story of transformation. Because I didn't always wake up in the morning feeling this sense of wholeness and excitement. There was a time in my life when I woke up feeling really unloved. I woke up feeling like I didn't even know quite why I was here and what my purpose was, or what am I doing here? What's the meaning of life in Victor Hugo's famous book? I didn't know what that was. And before I go too much further into this story, I'd like to just make one comment to say, if you're joining us today, which I hope that you are, and I love it when you do, even if you're watching the replay, I like those as well. Please put your name and say hello in the comment section so that I know that you are here. And anything that you want to comment on or ask me about, I welcome, because I don't have a guest today. I am my own guest today. Usually I have a guest, and I do have a wonderful lineup of GBTQ men coming on to join me throughout the month of April. But today I'm starting out solo. I'm celebrating me. And the one thing that I've learned about myself is just really how extraordinary life is and what a gift this life is. If anything I've learned wonderful about Martin, it's just how wonderful life itself is, how grateful I am to have this life. And that's what the slowdown has given me and so many people I talk to. So many people that I talk to, and I read their stories, I read everything, is that everyone it seems like I come in contact has realized just how grateful they are for what they have. And this slowing down has given all of us an ability to just get still enough to say, what's the rush? In the olden days, before I had this enlightenment, I had this new awareness, I woke up thinking, I got to rush to get some agenda done. I got to get something done. But it wasn't the agenda of my heart. It was the agenda of my ego. It was the agenda of my shadow. It was to achieve and become something that other people loved and respected, that I thought other people would love. I didn't have enough self-confidence and courage and love for myself, really, to even recognize that what I had to offer was the most valuable thing in the world. And that's true for each person listening. That's true for every single human being. When you realize who you are, that you are the divine, You are your essence, that creative spark, that light in all of us is who and what we are. And once we realize and we can begin to cultivate that relationship, which is what I've been able to do in the last year. Once we realize that, you can't unrealize it. Once you experience being the light and know what that feels like, that sense of calm and power and peace without any fear of anything, except stillness of unconditional love, you cannot go back to not knowing, because you now know. You now know there is something much bigger than what our little ego thinking minds can figure out, can see. Our minds think in binary. That's the way the human brain, and we need that, by the way. Our minds think in binary. It's good or bad, more or less, more than, less than. So it's constantly comparing ourselves and each other to ourselves and to each other. And usually because it's shadow, it's negative, we're always telling ourselves in some form or fashion, we're not quite good enough. We're not enough. And you know what truthfully is? As my spiritual teacher told me, from the ego's perspective, it's not. Because without that spiritual component, without being plugged into that creative, aware mind, that divine self, without having the awareness of who we are, we're not complete and whole. We're not enough. There is very little without the human spirit, without the creative spirit within us, the life force, there is very little we could accomplish. But we get the illusion that it's our separate self, that it is us who creates our accomplishments, that we create our successes. But it's not. It's something much bigger inside of us. It's that creative genius. And almost any artist will tell you about this. You know, I love people who work in the creative world, who are either pianists or violinists or musicians or artists who daily wake up to master that creative genius within them. But it's not just limited to the arts. It can be in everything. It can be in the art of cutting the grass. It's in everything we do. The miracle that we can do the simplest things to transform one thing to another. The simplest things is a miracle that we are creators. The very fact that I can go into my kitchen right now and pull a box of Jello instant pudding, or I don't like instant, I like the kind you have to cook for 5 minutes. You get a cook and serve Jello pudding box. I like sugar-free. It's in a box. It's a powder in a box. And I can go in my refrigerator and get some oat milk. I like oat milk. And a pan and put it on the stove. Now you show me any other animal in the animal kingdom that can do this very simple task. There isn't one. It's the miracle of being a human being. The fact that I can sit here and think ahead that I can go get a pan, turn on some fire, get a box of powder and a couple cups of oat milk, put it on the fire and stir it and watch it transform from two things into one. As it thickens, it becomes this one chocolatey kind of wonderful pudding mess. And then pour it into a little container and put it in the refrigerator and let it get cool and hardened. And then I'm enjoying it. We can do that. Simple thing is a miracle. And that same force that just made that Jello pudding made everything that you see. Not Martin Cowart by himself, because the ego is right. But Martin Cowart by itself, the human without the being, is helpless. But the human thinks sometimes it is God. It is doing it. And when we finally get to the point where no, there is something much bigger in us. We are created with a much higher level of operating system, if you will. I call it sometimes the creative aware mind. When we realize that's who we are and that's what we are, everything changes. And your mission and my mission and your purpose and my purpose will become crystal clear to each and every person. As a spiritual teacher and prosperity coach, this is what I teach people: how to tap into this creative, aware power within themselves. Because it's really not about me teaching, it's about me sharing with you what I've learned. And if I can say anything that I've learned, I have learned how to share it. I'm learning how to share. I'm mastering that craft. And it's through telling stories. And it's through telling my own transformation and listening to your transformational stories. And if you will listen to other people's transformational stories, then we can all help transform the world into a place of love and prosperity and abundance. Because I'm on a mission. I am on a mission. When I woke up and realized I had all this power within me, it was a lot more powerful than this whatever my ego is trying to create. And it still tries to create that sometimes, by the way. That's okay. I'm aware of it now. I just say, you just sit over there right now. We got something bigger going on. But once we realize who we are, your purpose will become crystal clear. And my mission is to create a world of abundance and prosperity by showing up with love and gratitude. Because in my moment of enlightenment, I got a message, like the burning bush got a message. It's like you get a message, but it's loud and clear, but it's still and soft. It's like you when you get one, it's something different. And it was in one of my deepest, darkest hours of agony. And all of a sudden I just surrendered it. I said, I don't know what to do here. I really don't know. I've got this huge problem and I don't know how to solve it. I need help. And you know what? As soon as I actually surrendered that problem and admitted that one, I created the problem, and two, I didn't know how to solve it, and I needed help from something much bigger than me, it came. I got this voice in me that said, okay, I felt this is going to sound cheesy. I know it sounds cheesy because when people who go through an enlightening experiment, they try to share it, people think they haven't had one, they think you're crazy. I can tell you that. I know that from too many times trying to tell a story. But I'll tell you something. As soon as I got into that space and I let go of my agony and my fear of not all this stuff that I'd created, I felt this sense of calm and peace and power just like come on me. I would consider that grace right now. And this deep, deep voice within me said, Martin, none of this stuff that you're so worried about matters. It doesn't matter if you are successful. It doesn't matter if you make a lot of money. It doesn't matter if you get certified or not certified with the Mankind Project. That was what I was really upset about. I wasn't getting certified with the Mankind Project. And quite frankly, I shouldn't have been. That was the gift. That was the real gift because it put me into agony. And so I needed to go into that deeper place with me and say, I don't know how to do. I don't know how to get certified. I don't know how to make money. I don't know how to do any of these things that I'm trying to do. And once I admitted that and surrendered it, that's what came up. None of that stuff matters. None of that matters, Martin. All you have to do is show up with love and gratitude, and I, the divine within you, will do the rest. And it's taken me a little while this was back in 2018, I believe. So it's taken me a few years to actually develop that and intimately understand that and actually begin to live that way. There was still some darkness and some things I had to run through, to really challenge that. But this year, This year of the pandemic, where I've had to be, I have been, all of us have been forced to get still and get quiet and get to know ourselves. That that mission, that voice in my head got clearer and clearer and clearer, to the point now where I wake up most days and start most days by, number one, getting my coffee, sitting out here on my wonderful part, and waking up with the divine. Because I'm allowing my body, my physical body, and my human mind to get still long enough for my divine self, my spiritual self, and I call her, by the way, her name is Joy the Wise Woman. And then this is how it works. I'm telling you something. It's this, and it works for everybody that I coach if they'll just do it. But the egoic mind does not like this, because you're basically telling the egoic mind to just shut up for a little bit. For just a few minutes, you're going to be quiet. And so it doesn't like that. So it's going to find all reason. But I'll tell you, when you do this, this will work for you, because it works for everybody. Because everybody's got a divine spirit. That's who they are. But if you'll get up in the morning and you'll get still enough, I get my coffee. This is what I get. I love coffee. I make myself a great big latte in the morning. I come out here on my porch where you see me, and you see in the back of my porch. Now it's nice enough where I can sit out here in the morning. I face the east, and I watch the sun come up. And all of a sudden, I can begin to hear and feel the birds singing. And as I'm looking around and just observing, I'm like, wow, this world, I can just feel the magnificence of this world, and I become part of the world. I realize I am part of this world. And everything I'm seeing, I am part of the creation of it. And that's powerful. That's powerful. And then I'm able to say, okay, now, and by the way, when I'm sitting there with my coffee, I'm thinking, I am grateful. I am here in this moment with gratitude and love. And so the practice is to show up, as Eckhart tells us, being present to the moment. So when we can get present to the moment, if I can show up to each moment as it arises with an open heart of love and gratitude, so that my divine nature, the Joy the Wise Woman, can do the action. I become the servant. I become the servant of the divine, which is here to serve others. It is here to serve, to serve, to serve. That's what I'm here for. That's what you're here for. And when you discover that we're here to serve and share our unique gifts, you will begin to live a life of love and joy and prosperity. That's how we create a world of abundance and prosperity, because we are in a world of abundance and prosperity. We are born into that world. So we actually become co-creators into something that's already here. We just get to sit in that wonderful space and serve others with our gifts, whatever those gifts might be. You might be a wonderful mother or a wonderful father. It doesn't have to do with being able to go outside in the world and make a lot of money. Although if you're bringing your gifts out into the world and they're valuable for others, and others are willing to see the value and they're willing to give money for that, then that currency, then you need that currency of love exchange to grow and build your empire, if you will. And one of the best examples of that to me is my icon. One of my icons is Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey and I are the same exact age. We both grew up in rural South. Me, a fairly privileged white boy. She, a very poor, underprivileged Black girl. And her chances of success were not nearly as good as mine were. But look what she has built. She tapped into that genius that we all have at a very young age and began to learn to serve. And in her service, to this planet in her lifetime, she has built this empire of service to the world, of transformation. And that's powerful. And I'll tell you something else. She's not holding on to her money. She gets the more she serves, the more she makes. The more she serves, the more the universe gives her, provides for her to grow that empire to serve more people. That's how wealth is created. That's living in prosperity. She is sharing all that the things that come in. Yeah, she enjoys it. She enjoys it in a wonderful big home. But look, how did the home get to be? She's celebrating the beauty and the magnificence of all the skilled labor who created that home. People often say things like, "Oh, uh, people who drive Mercedes are bad. They're greedy." That's just a judgment. First of all, people who drive Mercedes aren't need to be, but what the Mercedes represents is beautiful craftsmanship, is beautiful artistic value. It is a valuable piece of machinery that no, you can get from point A to point B, but if you can acknowledge the beauty of that magnificent machine, you can enjoy it. You can enjoy that. If your life purpose is to drive a Mercedes, that's a different story. If you're obsessed with that, but if money's flowing into your world, and you can flow money into the world of those people who manufacture that beautiful piece of machinery, more power to you. That's a sharing of prosperity. That is capitalism at its best. Capitalism is we've been living for so many years in this scarcity mindset, in this belief that there's only a finite amount of resources, including money, a finite amount of time. But there is a finite amount of time as far as your human experience is concerned. And there's a finite amount of money that you can spend in one lifetime too, by the way. But from a standpoint of resource, you've got infinite resources. And then money can become an expression of that creative energy in the world. It's a currency of exchange of creative energy. It's a way for me to say to all the people, I don't drive a Mercedes, by the way, I drive a Mazda, but I'm using this as an example. I do have a BMW once, but it was for the wrong reason. It was for the right reason, but I don't want to get too far off on the course of it. But let's just say that you recognize the beauty and the value, and maybe the prestige of driving a Mercedes. All that's in there. I know driving a BMW was really luxury. It drives beautifully. They drive beautifully. They're beautifully made, and there is a certain amount of cachet, if you will, about driving a BMW and a Mercedes and a Tesla and all those things. But the thing is, you got to recognize that that comes with the package. But what I'm talking about here is really recognize the beauty and the craftsmanship of the vehicle, and acknowledging that, and saying I'm willing. People put a lot of effort in creating that car, make it safe, make it really one of the finest automobiles. And they're always changing it and cultivating it, and it stimulates others. It stimulates BMW, Tesla people, others to model their higher end performance automobiles in the same thing. So when you begin to look at the world as a place of abundance and prosperity, then everything changes. I went from a world where I believed there wasn't enough to go around, and I better claw my way to the top. And then I had imposter syndrome, and everything failed because I was basing it on a false idea that I had to be somebody else than who I was. And so when I came to the realization that I'm already everything I need to be, and that what I'm already is pretty darn amazing. And I don't mean that because of Martin Cowart, the individual. I mean that because of the wholeheartedness of Martin Cowart. And I say that to you because there's nothing I have that you don't have. You have everything. There's nothing that Oprah Winfrey has that you don't have. She has just been willing to put down her own selfish needs, and it's hard for somebody who comes from poverty and also from all the racism in the South and to rise up through all that. It takes courage and perseverance and a deep conviction that you're loved, a deep knowing that you're loved, a deep knowing that you're loved. And that's what we're all about in this world. We are love. We are infinite love. We are, there is, that is the light of who we are. And our jobs as human beings, as Eckhart Tolle says, many humans, one being. Many humans, one being. And we as human beings have, our task is to remove the shadows, remove any false narrative, including the false narrative of the scarcity mindset, out of the way to experience the truth of who we are. And when we experience the truth of who we are, our purpose will become evident. And I got to say, and that purpose is always a purpose of serving. Always a purpose of serving others. Because it is our nature. And when we can serve others and make a difference, we experience joy. Profound joy. That's why I call her Joy, the Wise Woman. Because she represents that divine feminine within all of us. It's not gender specific. It is the divine energy within us that cares and nurtures for others and for ourselves and for this planet. And now I think we've even got some leaders in our country who seem to care more about others than they do themselves. And that's refreshing. That gives me a new sense of hope. Because as we all individually begin to realize the truth of who we are, and we realize that our true happiness and our true joy comes in service to others, then we have the power to change the world, to a world of service and love for other people than ourselves. And that's a much more exciting way to live our lives. And I see my friend Mindy has joined me today. How are you doing, Mindy? I'm just having a little celebration of me today as I bring in a new month. Today's April 1st. And this month we are celebrating extraordinary gay, bi, trans men doing ordinary things that inspire us. And I hope that's me. It is me. I mean, that's coming from my heart. I know that I do that. But that's my purpose. That's why I'm here. And the point of this story is to tell you it's a lot of fun. It's an exciting way to live life. It truly is an exciting way to live. It is so much more fun than the way I lived it a year ago. I was trying to get here. I was efforting to get here because this is what. But once the pandemic came in, once this pandemic came in, maybe so I really had to embrace it and live in it. And so glad I did, because I've gotten so much. Not only do I have, but I've gotten all. Joy has created all these tools and workshops. I wrote a book. I'm creating some programs. I just did a wonderful workbook yesterday. It's called The Shadow Work Method for Solving Problems that anybody can use. And can you imagine if the whole world knew how to solve their problems in 3 easy steps by simply tapping into the divine that I have? That's the purpose of the book. It's to solve your problems by using the presence of the divine. Tapping into that creative, aware mind. Because that's the only way you can solve a problem. But it's the awareness of it and the learning how to do it. And that's what's so exciting about my new workbook. But that's one of the things that came out of this. And I'm going to do a workshop here in the Financial Mystics Sanctuary in a couple of weeks, as soon as I get some time to kind of test the worksheet out, etc. But you stay tuned. In April, I'm going, or maybe around April 15th, I'm going to do a live workshop in our Facebook group, the Financial Mystics Sanctuary, and give it away and teach people how to use it, because I think it's going to be a powerful tool. And I think, wow, can you imagine a world where everybody learns how to solve their problems by tapping into the divine within themselves, that higher power, that higher power, the higher, more efficient operating system we all have. So there you go. It's wonderful. And I see that it is, oh yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Thank you for being here, Mindy. I missed you. I know you've been away, but it was great to see you back on here yesterday, and I'm glad you're back today. And anybody who's watching the replay, please comment as well in the comment section. And if you have some questions, please ask them. I'll be glad to come back. I always come back and watch the replays and read the comments that people put in because of due to the replays. And so both are good. I mean, it's all about, my mission is to transform this world from living in a scarcity mindset, abundance and prosperity, to living in abundance and prosperity. It's what I call poverty thinking to prosperity living. And that's what I'm on a mission to do. I'm on a mission to get us out of poverty thinking into prosperity living. And one of the ways that I center myself is through prayer, through contemplative prayer. And I'm going to set the timer here. And we're going to pray. We're going to go into contemplative prayer. It's a specific type of prayer. Give me a minute to get my timer going here. Contemplative prayer is what we do is something called centering prayer. In this prayer, the whole purpose, the intention is to do exactly what we're talking about, is to get into that heart space. It is to center all of our energy in around the heart, which is that still point within us that connects us to all of creation. That's what the heart is. It is more than just an organ, but think what it's doing. It's taking in spirit. It's taking in oxygen from out here in the universe. It's mixing it with the physical blood in our bodies and going through our brains to create that life force. And it's kind of like a beacon out there in the world, connecting us to other forms of life, because it's just vibrational energy, life energy. And that's what the heart's doing. It's vibrating life and love, connecting it to other. It's all connected. It's all there. We don't have to connect it. It's connected. What we have to do is get quiet and quiet the mind so we can experience the connection. That's what we're going to do. We do that with the breath. So raise your arms up in the air. Okay, and if you did that, you just experienced the divine nature, because it is the divine spark. It is that life, love inside of you that you serve by raising your arms and obeying. And that's why I do that. I'm celebrating gay, bi, trans men this month. I'm celebrating me. I'm celebrating this life. And I want you to celebrate it with me. And I want to celebrate your life. This spark that we're all connected, we are all part of. It's like being in the ocean. If you're in the ocean, you're in the ocean. You are the ocean in this case. So you can put your arms down and just begin to become conscious of your breath. Like I said before, we're going to use the breath to go from looking out to looking in, to living inside ourselves, to exploring our interior landscape, to see what's going on with us right now. What are we feeling right now? Who would you be? My favorite comment is, who would you be without your story? Without this false belief of who you are or what you are, whether it's good or bad, right or wrong, it doesn't matter. They're just beliefs. They're just stories. So who would you be without them? Well, we're going to find out. You'd be pure love energy. Pure love creative consciousness. That's what we are. That has been scientifically proven, as a matter of fact. So a little technique that I'll teach you to help you quiet the brain, to quiet the mind from thinking, is to learn to relax, is to set your mouth in such a way that you're consciously relaxing and massaging the back of your tongue. Because when we're thinking, the back of our tongue is vibrating. So we kind of reverse engineer this, and we begin to massage and slow down the vibration of the back of the tongue. Then it will slow down the thinking in our heads. So you want to try that? So let's take the tip of your tongue, rest it on the roof of your mouth, just behind your front teeth. Part your lips and relax your jaws. And just breathe. And as you're breathing, focus the breath on massaging the back of your tongue and just notice what happens. Really feel the breath slowly massaging the back of the tongue. That's your primary purpose for the next moment or two. Actually, the next 20 minutes is just to slow down the mind by focusing on the breath. And we're going to take 3 belly breaths to create some more space. Go really deep inside ourselves. And what this is going to look like is the following. With the belly muscles, you're going to expand the belly and you're going to pull the breath through the nose into the throat, massage the back of your tongue, open your heart, expand the rib cage, and pull that breath deep, deep, deep into your belly to anchor yourself, to anchor your body into your chair. You ready? Okay, breathe in. Breathe in a little deeper. Now hold it. Now just let it go. Just let it go. And as you let go of every thought. Let go of every opinion, every judgment, every belief, every story you have about yourself, about me, about this world. Just let it all go out. And come back to just naturally breathing in and out and massaging the back of the tongue. And allow the vibration of that bell to take you even more deeply inside. And as you're inside, eyes open, eyes closed, it doesn't matter. Whichever's more comfortable for you. Whichever helps you to focus on the inside versus the outside. Look around your body and see what emotions you might be feeling in the moment. What emotions are floating in and floating out? Maybe you're feeling angry. Maybe you're feeling fear. Maybe you're feeling joy. Maybe you're just feeling peace. Whatever you're feeling, embrace it. You feel it. Appreciate it. Use it as a guide to pull you more deeply inside yourself. So just return to the natural breathing, massaging the tongue, allowing yourself to get even a bit more still, more comfortable in your own body. We're going to take another belly breath. Ready? In through the nose, down the throat, massage the tongue, open the heart, really pull the breath deep into the belly and expand it and hold it. Hold it a little bit more. Expand the belly a little bit more. And now just gently let it go. And as you let it go, consciously let go of the remaining thoughts and opinions and beliefs and worries and things in your head. Hold on to nothing. Fill into the spaciousness within yourself. The space you've just created around your heart. The spaciousness of the breath holding you in the chair. And the slowing down of the back of your tongue. We're going to do one more belly breath, and then I'm going to be still until we hear the wake-up bells to wake us from our thinking. You ready? Breathe in through the nose, down the throat, massage the tongue, open the heart, and pull it deep into your belly. Ready? Hold it. Expand it. Expand the belly and hold it. Now soften the belly and let everything go. Soften the mind. Soften the tongue. And just breathe gently. And allow yourself to be still. And just know that I am God. Not me, Martin, but I am. And there's the sweet sound of that wake-up bell to wake us up out of our thinking, our planning, our worrying. And just smile at that brilliant brain of yours from that work it's doing and just let it go. And allow yourself to fall more deeply in love with yourself. There's that sweet wake-up bell, waking us up from our thinking, maybe even our sleeping, our worrying, our planning, our plotting, our story. Just thank that brilliant mind of yours for all that it's doing and let it all go and allow yourself to fall more deeply in love. And there's our final wake up. Wake us up and bring us back into the thinking world where we need that brilliant binary brain as a servant to help the divine navigate through this world and make things happen. And to make things happen, to take ourselves into action in the world, to live our purpose, to make value, to contribute. Because there's nothing more powerful than a contemplative in action. That has the power to change the world. And we're doing it. All of us are doing it. We are moving from thinking in poverty to living in prosperity. Spring has sprung. There's a new world awakening. Will you join me? Thank you. May love and prosperity prevail.